Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video is going to be a 2-for-1. So it's going to be a technique to final project number 14, and it's also going to be my Friday video number 371. So let's get started. So on Tuesday we did the color swatches for the Simon Hurley sprays. And I decided that I wanted to try and take the black texture paste and use some of the spray on it. Okay, and we're going to use it on a background, and I'm just using this photo of my mom that I found, and I'm just lining it up to the colors and decide what did I want to use on the background. And I think I decide to use the beluga, and I'm also going to use the golden hour. Okay, so we're going to start with the beluga first. I'm just shaking it up, making sure I get all of the stuff on the bottom picked up. I have this small stencil from Tim Holtz, and I'm going to spray the ink down first and grab some of the texture paste and start mixing it. And I can see the bluish tint from the spray hitting the black ink. And it's mixing in, but I do spray a little bit more because I really wanted to make sure that there was a difference. And you can kind of see the blue shimmer in it when I was holding it up with the jar, because the jar is it's a distinct solid black, so with this stencil, I'm just gonna add this paste in like 4 different areas, with it being a mini one, and then I slid a little bit, but it's okay because I just want to create a little bit of texture that's going to wind up being behind the photo and the area where we're going to do some of the paper layering and stuff like that. So I'm taking this and just spreading it through. It doesn't have to be super thick, and you don't have to use a whole lot. Okay. And if you have any that gets in a spot that you don't want it, if you pick it up pretty quickly, it won't, dry in place on your paper. You know what I mean? Because I know with the smaller ones and a lot of the Tim Holtz stencils, a lot of times I get stuff on the outside and I wind up getting an extra line. If you do, like I said, just try and scoop it up neatly, right when you see it, so that way, you know, it doesn't dry permanently on the background. So I'm looking at this and I can see the hints of blue, and then I decide, let's spray directly on it. I like to do splatters on my projects. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to spray directly onto the background with the blue. And then you're going to see, I think I wind up bringing the photo over. No, I don't do that here. I grab the golden hour first, and we're going to hold it up again and spray some more. The mistake I made here, I was shaking it and I had the lid off, and so I had to wind up cleaning my hands because, of course, some of the spray got out while I was shaking it. And look at that. Just that little hint of gold is perfect. Look how shiny that is. And I think her photo is going to just really pop off of this paper. So right now what I'm going to do is clean my mat, and then we'll come back. We're going to clean the stencil. And I mean, with the cleaning stuff, it's super easy to clean your tools super quick, and then we can get started on the actual layout itself. Now, I will tell you this. I videotape, I think, some of my picking out the pieces that I want, and then I jump ahead because there's so much stuff in the 49 and Market Flower Emporium. Yeah, I am saying that right? Yeah, the Flower Emporium that was the collab with Vicky Boutin. It's just too much to go through, and to do it on camera is like stressful. It creates anxiety in me. I was like, oh my god, even to the point where there's so many papers. It's just so much of everything. But in my mind, what I wanted to do was create like a focal image in the center of the page. I want to put obviously a backing on the photo, and I decided to do this blue for the photo mat. Okay. And then I'm going to find a pattern or a paper in the 6x8 pad that we're going to cut down a little bit shorter and use it to create our base area where everything is going to be built up around. And then I trimmed my photo so that it would be 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. So that way at 6x8, we're good. 6x8. Yeah, 6x8, we're good because we can cut it right in half at 4 inches, and it'll be a mat for a 4x6 photo that you trim down, creating a nice border all around your photo. And then I'm just straightening my edges with my distress tool. And I was kind of liking this one, but I felt like the photo was covering up the part that I was really liking. So I'm like, go back to the drawing board. Let's find, because there's tons of papers in here. We can find something. I was looking at this and I was like, no. So I end up landing on this one. It's neutral enough that the photo stands out. And once I trim it down, I realize I can use that little trimmed part on it so I'm not wasting or not using everything from the page. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to trim. I think I wound up trimming like an inch off. Yeah, I think I wound up doing an inch. And then I take that inch and I turn it to put it at the bottom to give a little bit of interest and a place for items from the different packages, because we have chipboard, we have flowers, we have ephemera, we have, oh my god, laser cuts. I didn't even use any of the laser cuts. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff in here. It's so ridiculous and overwhelming. I'm gonna tell you now. I grabbed some butterflies. There's so many of everything in here. This one collection has over 200 pieces in it. It's ridiculous. I'm like, you will be using this until, I don't know. This will probably outlast me, okay? Because there's just so much stuff in it. And I'm trying to go through it fast, and I realize as I'm doing this one package, I'm like, this is too much. This is going to take too long. I want to go through. I'm thinking about putting flowers like in one of the pails, cutting it so that it looks like the flowers are inside. So I'm looking for a specific type of flower that I want to kind of stick out. I mean, it's a little overwhelming. So if you've never experienced 49 in Market before or Vicki Boutin, there's them coming together has been so exciting. I love this collection. It's so much. It's a little overwhelming, but just take your time. You know, I grab out a few things. If I find something that I want to use, I keep it out. If I don't, I put it back in and I get the package off my desk because it's a lot. It's a lot. And you can see here, like right now, I'm probably to the point where I'm like, I'm seriously over it. Start putting some of this crap back. Like, it's not crap, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's too much. Sensory overload. Okay. So as I'm finding, and there's always a chance that I won't use all of the stuff that I pull out, but I like to pull it out so that way I don't have to go back in because I feel like I'm missing something. Do you know what I mean? So if I see it and I'm like, well, I could use that. Well, that's a possibility. I could maybe use that. Then I move it over to the right side where you see my mom's photos kind of over in the little corner there. I just keep moving stuff until, you know, if I don't find anything else, then it gets put back into the packaging and then that is put to the side. I go through the next package that's right underneath. I think there is more like acetates and vellum and stuff like that. This one, I do start going through some of it because I'm not sure. There's like a little chipboard piece, a chipboard phrase, there's a lot of different elements, but they didn't quite go with the photo itself that I was looking at. You know what I mean? So it was quick and easy to kind of go through because I realized most of it I wasn't going to use, not for this photo. And then once I make that decision, I just grab it all and start putting it back into the packaging. Serious. Like, limit yourself to a certain time limit of going through it. If you're not finding anything, then it's a wrap. Put it back in. Done. You know, if I feel like I need to check it again, I'll do so later, but I'm good. Yep, putting it back in. And I'm grabbing these, and that's it. And then, let me see. So that's when I was like, you know what? This is too much. So I got everything off to the side. I put together that initial piece, and then I just added a piece of ephemera on the right and the left. The one looks like a piece of notebook paper torn out, and the other side is a green, like a ledger card that I cut in half and then tucked it underneath the photo. So that's all you missed, okay? So now what we're going to start doing, I was trying to find a block to put on there because whenever you have texture on your paper, you want to make sure that you use tape and glue, and you want to make sure you use the glue because that's what's going to adhere to the texture that you put on the page, okay? So if you're just getting into mixed media and you're using texture paste, anything like that, you're going to want to use glue with your tape, okay? Now I'm starting to add the different bits. I have a little cat that we're going to put on the side. When I saw that in the ephemera, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab that. This little chipboard piece is going to be moved around a lot, only because I know I want to use it, but I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to use it yet. So I'm going to put it in places, and then it's probably going to wind up moving again. You'll see by the end, it's in a totally, completely different place. The other thing that changes is my butterflies. Why I decided, I wanted to show you there. I did do a little cut on the pail using my scissors because I'm stuffing the flowers into the pail because I want it to look like they're coming out of it. Okay, see? And then I'm just going to use some washi tape on the back, and then I can glue and tape the whole thing down. But anywho, my butterflies are going to go through some changes. So I start off with like 5, and then I take it down to 3, and then I wind up getting all 5 back again. Yeah. So there's my little flowers. I think that is so cute. And that little string with the bow on it is actually a laser cut piece that I thought was so cute. And the pail covers the one end because it doesn't go all the way to the end of my paper there. And I loved how that, turns out looking in the end. I also have some bees that I got from the ephemera. So we have butterflies and bees. I'm going to put that one piece on the side, my little tab. I love my tabs. And then I have the little vellum pieces. I'm putting one on the pail, one on the cat. I was going to put one down there, but I decided to put that on the cat. And then the other one, I'm going to actually wind up putting on the tab. So instead of putting the date there, I put one of the little vellum pieces. And then I'm going to start kind of gluing things down, since I know for the most part, I'm pretty sure where I want most of this to go. You can see I took off a couple of the butterflies, and right now I'm looking at the sticker sheet because I'm trying to think like, what am I going to put over here? What am I going to put down there? Like, what else am I going to do with this layout? And then I decide, what, the best thing is probably just to start putting some stuff down. These circles were also in the vellum piece, and I'm just using them. Instead of having the bee on the photo, I'm going to put it there with the vellum circle and create like a little cluster right there. And I'm only putting glue in a little spot on the vellum piece, and that's where the chipboard is covering it. And then I'm putting the bee down so that way it's off and on the piece, so that way it keeps the vellum down. Same thing with this side. the little vellum, and then the B is going to be on both and kind of on the end. I was making sure I didn't put it upside down because it's very easy to do so. All right, so little vellum on the cat, and now I'm going to start laying all of this down. And I tried to put the glue part underneath the little edge there, and then my sentiment, which is, I can't see it from there, beautiful moment. I'm going to put that on top, so that'll also hide some of the glue. And then the B is on the other end to hold the other end down very strategically. So if you're ever worried about like where to put glue with vellum and like acetate and stuff, those are little tricks. So anything that's going to be on top of it to cover it, put the glue there because it's going to be covered, you know? And I was thinking I want to put something on the bottom right, and I feel like it just needs a little something. So I was thinking maybe some flowers, and I land on rub-ons. I'm going to tell you this. If I can get another package of these rub-ons, I may do that. And you're going to see, I'm going to lay some stickers down here that, no. As soon as I laid it down, I didn't like it. I was like, no, it's not doing what I want it to do. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to grab the rub-ons, and I'm going to put one in the bottom right. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, ooh, I'm loving how this is looking. Because, you know, sometimes you don't think to put rub-ons on the black paper. A lot of times we use it on pattern paper, white paper, stuff like that. But I've never used it myself on the black. And it actually came out really nice. I love how it looks. It was up a little high from the bottom edge, but I do have a method to kind of fix that. And I almost forgot my tab to get it glued down. So I moved it and it moved. And that's when I was like, oh, yeah, we got to glue that. So I grabbed the rub-ons again. And I'm going to wind up grabbing this one piece that's going to come down from the upper, on the left side there. Yeah, from the top to the bottom. And then we're going to make another little cluster up there. Because remember that little piece I had, that green piece, that I couldn't decide where I was going to put it with the photo? I'm going to put it here. And look at that. So it looks like those were already a part of the paper. You know what I mean? I love 49 and Market rub-ons. They're so pretty. And then I cut out 2 flowers because I was thinking I would also put some there. You'll see me cut them out in a minute. But this one says, thinking of you. And, you know, since my mom passed, I was thinking of her when I was getting ready to make this. So I wanted to put that thinking of you down there on the bottom. And then I'm also looking through the other rub-ons because you get 3 sheets in the rub-ons. And that's what I was thinking. Well, maybe I'll put these other flowers. I'll rub them on next to, like, you know, like on the right side or on the side where the cat is. Maybe I could put something over there. Thinking that it just needed something else. And I was liking how the rub-ons were looking. So I was like, that might be an option. But I think I decided to save onto those and use them another day. They're not going to wind up getting on the project. However, there are 2 flowers that I had pulled originally from the ephemera pack that I do wind up putting where I'm trying to put the rub-ons. So I'm going to take them off and yeah, I'm looking at it now as I'm trying to put some stuff together and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm glad I didn't put them over there. And that I decided to focus on something else and kind of let it kind of sit and stew there for a moment. And then I come back and I'm like, nah, I don't want to put those over there. And then I'm going to move those. And I'm going to grab that green piece. Do I grab it now? Yes. Oh, no. That's a sentiment. that I was thinking about using, and I don't think I use. No, I don't use that. But there's the green. I was going to put it at the bottom. This is where I decide to use the purple and yellow over on the side. I'm going to go ahead and glue the yellow one down. I'm not trimming anything. I like the height and where it's at. And then I'm going to trim down the kind of pinky purpley one. And then like kind of slide it in the middle there. Perfect. And then that green piece, instead of it going at the bottom, I'm going to wind up putting it up at the top. Mission accomplished. So we're going to add some glue and go ahead and line it up so it's right there on the edge, and boom. There we go. And then I'm putting the butterfly. So I bring in the fourth one and I'm like, okay, well, if you got 4, well, we need to bring in the 5th. We might as well bring in the 5th because we like them odd. We like them odd. And I've never met a butterfly I didn't like. And since I already had them on my page, why not just add it? And there you have that. And now we're going to end with a little bit of splatters. I know you're probably thinking, but you did all that spray in the beginning. Yes, I did. But I still want to add another level of gold, which is the Spritz Fossilized Amber. And then I'm also hitting it with the white. And I think that that is perfect. And with the white, I love white on dark colors anyway, so it's just popping on the black. So it was perfect. And then that's it. There's our final page. And let me tell you, it was, hope and a prayer, because it's so much stuff. Sometimes you don't know what all to do, but as soon as you tilt it, look at that blue. And you can see the texture. This is going to be so much fun. We got to play with it some more. I think I might want to use the black texture paste on white and spray so that the black of the texture paste will be shiny from the sprays. And then you'll also get it on the white. So it'll be like a hidden little shimmer. We got some playing to do. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this layout. Please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share button. And if you have any questions or comments, if you want to see me play more with the sprays, with the embossing or the texture paste, just leave a comment down below. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Bye.